Hello. Okay, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night for some people. Wherever you're tuned in, you are welcome to your family's mental wellness. My name is Vic. I am a therapist by profession. I am a reverend by ordination. I am into marriage and family welfare by calling. So all those are who I am. But today we're going to talk about how you can become a counselor, a mental health counselor, or addiction counselor, any kind of counselor. I want to share my experience. I will try not to go into textbook. I can share with you what I did, how I got here. Perhaps that would help you a little bit more than telling you what you can Google and read for yourself. So we're going to talk about our experience and then how we got to become licensed in multiple areas of counseling. I am an alcoholic and drug counselor, mental health counselor, marriage and family counselor. I do a lot of grief counseling and a whole lot of orders. If you do mental health, you do trauma by implication. So I also do that. If you do grief, you do loss by implication. So that's part of what we are going to be talking about today. So the first thing to do is to ask yourself, do I want to become a counselor? So I'm guessing if you're here, you are thinking about becoming a counselor, or you are one already and you're thinking about how do I enhance my profile? How do I get more skills, more knowledge? At the end of the day, a counselor is someone that is trained to use skills and knowledge to help people achieve their goal. That's really what we do. We help people to achieve their goal. If they want to go from point A to point B and they have obstacles along the way, we want to help them remove those obstacles or overcome them. If they want to go from unhappiness to happiness, we want to show them how to be happy. If they are depressed and they want to overcome depression or anxiety, that's what counselors do. If they are drinking alcohol excessively, they're addicted to drugs, they want to stop, we want to help them to stop. Show them how they can use their internal or external resources to stop drinking or to stop drugging. That's what we do. So, you ask yourself, do I want to become a counselor? So you do. So first hurdle we have passed. What do I have that would help me to be a counselor? That's the next question. What do I have? What characteristics do I have? What internal strengths do I have that I can use in my counseling? It could be that you're a good listener. It could be you're a good learner. It could be that you are empathetic. You have a lot of compassion. It could be that you have passion for a certain population. Those who are suffering from mental health illness, those who are grieving, that may be your passion. Or if you're like us, that started from being passionate about marriage and family, that may be you. So that's that first hurdle. I love children. You might say, I love children. I want to learn how to counsel or minister to children who are dealing with problems, one problem or the other. That may be your calling, or I'm called into youth ministry. So I want to be equipped to be able to reach this youth and help them become somebody. So those are strengths that you have. So you identify that. Do I have empathy? Do I have presence? Do I have knowledge? What do I have? So it could also be that you are coming from a place of experience. For us, for my wife and I, we are trained lawyers. So we have practiced law. And from that perspective, we have a lot of experience as family law practitioners that we can bring into therapy, that we can bring into those who are thinking that divorce is an option. I can tell them what divorce does to people, what happens in court, enlighten them perhaps. That might be something that may make the person either gain clarity and say, yeah, I think that's what I want. Or gain clarity and say, that's not what I thought. I thought divorce would solve all these problems. Now I know that it's a different kind of problem. I'm exchanging one problem for the other. So we use our past knowledge, or even simply age. Well, at our age and 30 something years of marriage, we bring a lot of practical ideas to the table that we can use to encourage people. Let me remove my the music that was playing earlier on. Hopefully, it hasn't been cracking. But let me remove it. That way, you can hear us. So you ask yourself, what strength or knowledge do I have that I can bring? It could be that you're one of my favorite populations for this. You're retiring. You're thinking about retirement. That's why I got here. I was thinking about retirement. I was thinking, what do I want to do when I'm 80 that I can still do effectively? And I couldn't think of any other thing but being a therapist, being a counselor. The more gray hair that you have, the more people listen to you. The more gray hair that you have, the more experience you have to share. So I decided that I was going to be a counselor. I was going to go into therapy because I have the skills. I can listen to people. I have passion. There are things I'm interested in. Um, I've also experienced a lot of things that I can share, whether from a grief perspective, a drug and alcohol perspective, marriage perspective, or even mental health, like training. So that's the next thing you do. You ask yourself, what strength do I have? Then the next thing is, which kind of counselor do I want to become? A lot of us assume that all counselors are the same. No. Yeah, you have the basic knowledge, but there are specializations. I've mentioned some of them here. There are people who are called to those who are suffering trauma, grief, drug and alcohol, and all that. That may be your calling. There are people who are called into marriage and family. That may be you. Even in marriage and family, there are different areas that counselors focus on. Some focus on premarital counseling, which is preparing young people to get into marriage so they can be successful. Some people focus on marriage enrichment, which is people who are already married, who are doing well or not doing well, giving them tools to make their marriage better, to enjoy the marital experience. That may be you. And then there are people who are called into those who are in conflict, couples in conflict. You are really there who have to help them pick up the pieces. Or there are people who do all of those things. So you decide, what kind of counselor do I want to be? Do I want to be depression and anxiety? Is that what I'm called to do? Do I want to focus on populations? Do I want to focus on needs? There are people who are career counselors. They really don't deal a whole lot with people who are sick. There are people who have problems. They deal with people who are trying to figure out their career, like you that joined us this morning. You're trying to figure out counseling. How do I enhance myself? Where do I go? How do I focus? That may be you. You may say, no, I just want to do career counseling. A lot of schools in Africa, a lot of universities, that's what they have, guidance and counseling. So really, you really help people to choose a career, make decisions. It's not really those other technical ones. So that may be you. You may also say, I really don't want to deal with people one-on-one. I want to write. I say, counselor, you can write, you can share blogs, you can do all those. So you decide what you want to be. In my own case, when I started, because we were already in marriage and family ministry, it was a no-brainer. I was just going to get a master's degree so I can get a license. That was the idea. We were doing those things already. So I wanted to get knowledge, get a license so we can be effective. Obviously, when I got to the graduate school, when I discovered cancer, I discovered drug and alcohol as a need. I discovered grief as a need, and I discovered adolescents and children, that population. I kept discovering, finding out there are populations that require special skill. And that's how I move every year. I isolate one area of counseling, one area of need, and I gain specialization on them. Last year, I was focused on mental health because that's where I was working. The year before, it was great. 3 years ago, it was on drug and alcohol counseling. Next year, I haven't decided, but it's going to be something that I haven't learned, I don't know a whole lot about, so that I can keep growing and expanding and getting more clarity. Let me admit more people that are looking at me if you're on the outlook. So anyway, if you're here, so you decide what area of counseling that you want to zero down on. Now, you may start from the general, that's where we all started from, and then you zero down to what your passion really is. Now, depending on your jurisdiction, the next question is, how do I acquire the knowledge, the license, the certification to become a counselor? And that's why another reason why we are here. Now, let me say this, it's jurisdiction specific, depending on where you live. Why? Because counseling professions like medical and other professions, they are regulated by the government of the place that you live. So I cannot say that the way it works here is the way it's going to work for you. I'm just going to give you a general view and then give you tools to go find out your own jurisdiction. What are they looking for? The good thing is that if you are in developing countries, a lot of them either are not regulating counseling and therapy, they're not regulating the profession yet, or they have regulation that they are not enforcing, which means the same thing. They have regulation or they don't. They have, they're not enforcing it. Some of them are beginning to develop one. So you have to kind of plan ahead. Because if you're in Nigeria and South Africa, for instance, where they're beginning to develop regulations and beginning to looking for towards enforcing it. So you have to look forward to what's going to happen 5 years from now. Because if you're dancing according to the tone of today, where nobody's bothering you, and then in the next 5 years, when you've reached your height or when you've reached your peak, you are advancing, and then the government says, gee, you don't have a license, you're not qualified. So you have to think ahead of time so that you will continue to function. So what happens is if you want to be, if you're in Texas, for instance, you have to have a master's degree. You have to have a master's degree. The last time I was in school was 2000, year 2000. That's when I finished my doctorate of jurisprudence school here. That's when I got my JD. And I did not go to any other form of school until 2015. I had to go back to school to do a postgraduate course on general counseling. And then from that, zero down to other things. So if you're in Texas, obviously, that's what you're looking at. If you're wanting to get a licensed professional counseling authorization or permit, that's what you do. Or if you just want to be a drug and alcohol counselor, it's only an associate that they need. If you're in Texas, you have an associate degree, and then you take the exam, pass the exam, then you do a whole lot of internship. For drug and alcohol counseling, it would be about 4,000 hours of supervised internship. That's a lot. That could take you up to 4 or 5 years to get that. If you have a regular job. But there are ways around it. If you have a master's degree, like I didn't have to do all those supervised hours because they take your master's degree for that. If you have a first degree, you won't do 4,000, you do 3,000. you have a master's again, you do not, you do, it's taken for it. So you don't have to do supervised hours. That's just for drug and alcohol counseling. That's just for text. But if you live in the United States and to a large extent, Canada, it's going to be about the same thing for most jurisdictions. Master's degree, and then some hours of supervision. Some have more, some have less. And what do you do with supervision? I finished school in 2018. They didn't have time to go do supervision because it requires you to actually work. And some will pay you, a lot pay you now because therapists are in demand. So it's like you're working and getting paid. But before COVID, we were traveling a lot. I didn't have time to go sit down and work for someone and get 3,000 hours to become a mental health counselor. And then COVID hit. I wasn't traveling. We were not traveling anymore. So I said, well, I'm here now. So I might as well go and pursue this. So last year, January, I started to gain my hours. And then March this year, I completed 3,000 hours, supervised hours to become a licensed professional counselor in the state of Texas. In the state of Texas. Now, there are states that have reciprocity. Right? If I go to Louisiana or another state, I will still have to meet their own requirements. For most states, again, it will be reciprocity. What I did here, they might accept it or want me to do other things, but that's for US. If you're not in the US, you want to find out what does your government require you to do. If they are not requiring anything, then it comes down to knowledge. How do I train myself, get the knowledge? Now, you can obviously go and register for a 2-year college, postgraduate college, um, and spend that money and all that if you want to do it as a profession. Or you can do alternative training, and that's what we offer. We offer a lot of trainings on marriage and family counseling, a lot of training in grief counseling, and other essential things. We have years of them that we are offering certification on. Does that make you a licensed professional counselor? No. Does that make you a professional counselor? Yes. License is given by the state. So whichever state or government you work for issue you their license to practice within the state. But if you don't have to practice in their state, so if you're saying no, I really don't want to do any of those things, you don't have to get the license. You get the knowledge, and the knowledge stays with you. With the world going global, a lot of these licenses really are meaningless and less. But a lot of professionals who are licensed in Texas who have dumped their license and they're saying, look, I want to be a coach. I don't want to be regulated by government. I'll still do the same thing that I'm doing as a professional counselor. I just wouldn't do things that I build the government because if you have to build insurance company for mostly in the most part, they're going to require you to have a state license. But other than that, if you're accepting tax, if you're accepting if you're doing other things, you don't need a license to do it. Now, if you're here and I'm winding down and you're saying, where do I go from here? I'll tell you where I went. Before I went to grad school, I attended a lot of conferences. I did a lot of certifications just to gain knowledge and say, what kind of school do I go? How do I pursue this? Where do I start? And that's what I'm offering you. If you're here, come January, we're going to be offering the certified mental health and addiction counseling course. It's a 14-week course. It starts from January, runs till May. You're going to audit drug and alcohol counseling. You're going to audit the interaction of families and drugs. You're going to audit mental health, depression, anxiety, major mental health, which is depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia. We're not really now going into all those diagnoses we're doing. How do you understand what's going on with these people? And then we're going to talk about how to set up a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center. Well, part of the course is doing a capstone where you actually have a plan of action to set up your own, whether as an individual counselor or as a rehab, you have a facility where people come for treatment, or whether you're working with a psychiatrist, you're a nurse, you're opening up a clinic and you want to incorporate drug and alcohol as part of what you do. This course is for you. Obviously, if you're a retiree and you're thinking about retirement in the near future, this course is what you want to take. Those who are coaches, this is a good skill, a good knowledge, a good information, a good thing to add to your profile. If you're a pastor, obviously we have a lot of pastors who take this course because you're already doing counseling. You just wanted to gain knowledge of how do I help those who are struggling with alcoholism, those who are struggling from drugs. It's not as easy as saying get over it. People don't get over it. It's a disease. People don't get over cancer by themselves. They don't get over addiction just like that. It requires skill. So that's how to become a counselor, how to become a mental health counselor. Either you go to formal school or you go to informal school and prepare yourself and then decide whether you want to go get a degree on it and pay all that money. So we are offering you 14 weeks, January to May. You'll gain all the knowledge that you need. And part of what we are adding now is suicide prevention and care. We're also going to add domestic violence as part of the course so that when you come out, you're fully knowledgeable and prepared to handle those who are suffering, those who are addicted to drugs, those who are addicted to alcohol. You can help those who are dealing with suicide. You can help those who are victims of domestic violence. So that's all I have this morning. Thank you all for joining me. If you are here and you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer your question now. Any questions before we round up? Question? Comment? Question?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Who am I talking to?
Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Daddy. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I wanted to find out a quick one. We did the essential skills where there's loss, grief and loss, addiction and alcohol. So my question is, Rachel.
Rachel, I'm sorry, something is echoing. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, there's an echo.
Yeah, I've taken that off. Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying the
essential course, and you.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did like alcohol and addiction, managing depression and anxiety. So my question is, we can't help a patient in that line as at now until we finish the mental health?
Obviously you can, but what that course teaches you, it gives you information. It really doesn't, it's not long enough to teach you how to do assessment, where to go from assessment. There are 12 functions of a counselor. I'll just give you a few of them. One is to do screening. Two is to do intake, orientation, assessment, treatment planning, counseling, case management, consultation, and education. One of those, 12. So these are steps you take to help people. Do you do 12 of them for every person? No. So what the 1.5 hour courses that you gave you was information. Now, how to do it practically is what we really work on within this 14 months or 14 weeks. We would have cases, case studies that you would actually handle. We will actually decide identify the issues that the person is dealing with. You'll be given a fact scenario. You identify the issues, you decide how to prioritize them. Somebody has domestic violence, husband is beating her up. Because of that, she's now drinking. Because of that, she's now suicidal. Because of that, her marriage is backing up. So these are the issues. How do you decide which one to start with? Do you start from depression? Do you start from suicide? Do you start from drug and alcohol? So these decisions are what will confront you in reality when we start helping people. So to answer your question, yes, yes, you can help people, but are you truly prepared after doing 1.5 hours course? No, no. That course is designed for those who are marriage and family counselors. So that while you're doing marriage and family counseling, if you have issues of drugs, at least you can identify it and say, okay, this person is drinking. Because he's drinking, I may not be able to make progress with teaching him and his wife how to manage money because he's an addict. So the course helps you, or this person is going through grief. Because he's grieving, we may not make as much progress. The grief may account and explain why he or she is behaving the way they are behaving, why she's crying, why she's not grooming, why she's not taking care of herself. It may be the grief. That's what that course is designed to do for you. It doesn't make you. Does that make sense now?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Any other question before I wind down?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Who am I talking to?
My name is Lillian Davis.
Hi, Lillian. I saw you joined very early.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how can I help you?
This certification, is it going to comprise in the case of addiction and alcohol management, is it going to comprise the medication therapy? Are you going to teach? I'm a nurse. My doing this thing is to help my patients. Are you going to teach us the medication aspect of it, where we can help the patients to recover and adapt back to the society? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we will do that. And I'm not a nurse, I'm not a medical professional, but my wife is a nurse of many years. My wife is a nurse practitioner. She's licensed to prescribe the psychiatric medication, which includes drugs. So she will teach a 3-hour course or class in this certification that would explain the interaction and the drugs and medication and how they work. So that's really why we incorporated that for what you're saying, because part of drug counseling is medication assisted counseling or treatment, meaning we start from medication, we add therapy, and we add other things. So yeah, medication will be included in it. And being a nurse, we've had quite a few nurses and doctors and pharmacists. You will understand that course even a lot better. Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Lillian. So Lillian, are you joining us for January?
Yes, sir. I will.
Okay, good.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm in Port Harcourt, Nigeria.
Okay, good. We've had a few too that did this stuff from Port Harcourt. Anybody else? Question before I wind down? Question? But I appreciate you all. I appreciate you for joining us. The class is starting January, 1st of January. It's every other Saturday for 2 to 3 hours. We're doing a lot of hands-on now. Hands-on meaning we have a case study that we work with from beginning to the end, so that we are going to understand what addiction means. you're going to understand that addiction is not a choice. At least that's my school of thought. I agree with that school of thought. Some people still think it's a choice. I believe addiction is a disease and it has to be treated that way. So January we start, but if you start making payment now, you can, if you're paying in full, let me talk about the payment. If you're paying in full for the round is 14,500 round. For the Naira is 450,000 Naira. If you're paying in dollar, it's 950. All these things are discounted if you do one or two things. One, if you pay in full, a one-time payment, you get a 20% discount of either any of the currency. Two, if you're an affiliate, you also have a discount if you are one of our affiliates. But let me say once again that this is a good course for nurses and medical professionals who are thinking about going solo, private, or even enhancing your profile. You work in doctor's office, having this knowledge helps your doctor. This is also a good course for ministries. If you are called into youth ministry, draw this left, right, and center what you deal with. So this knowledge will help you. In the course of this course, we've had about 5 doctors who have taken this course. And they are practicing medical doctors. And they said, look, when we went to med school, we really did not do much about drugs. So I want to educate myself so I can be effective in helping my clients. So if you're a doctor, but if you are retiring, this may be something that you think seriously about. Whether you want to do it from the comfort of your house or you want to set up a rehab, we will walk through all that is required to set up a rehab. Or you want to partner with a psychiatrist, or you are a psychiatrist or a doctor and you don't have time for this course, you might say, secretary or my assistant, go and audit this course, go take this course. So we as a clinic will be more effective. And other people, pastors, this is it. If you want to be effective as a marriage and family counselor, you're not going to get to where you find out that one of the couples are drinking or in drugs and you're lost. You say, what do I do? This will tell you what to do. Because unless you address the drug and alcohol problem, you're not going to address the marriage problem successfully. There's a bigger fish to fry when there are those issues, mental health issues, drug and alcohol, grief. It becomes a stumbling block, an obstacle towards achieving cohesion in the marriage, or even reaching what we call homeostasis. It's a problem. So this helps all of us. I'll stop here. Thank you all. Join me again next Saturday. We will be talking about essential skills that you need to be an effective counselor. Skills. This is just one of them. We'll talk about the other skills. God bless you. Thank you.